Good morning. I am Lieutenant Barter, class instructor for Officer Development School. On behalf of the commanding officer, Officer Training Command Newport, welcome to the graduation ceremony for Officer Development School Class 23080, consisting of 155 officers, led by Class Team Lieutenant Justin Purnell, Lieutenant Ryan Fick, Senior Chief Gunner's Mate Christopher Lawrence, and Senior Chief Information Systems Technician Gregory Johnson. Military guests in uniform, this will be a covered ceremony. The order of events for this morning's ceremony are as follows. Captain Everett Alcorn, Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command Newport, and Rear Admiral Dennis Velez, Director, Plans and Policy, United States Cyber Command, will arrive. The guests in class will rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and invocation. Captain Alcorn and Admiral Velez will then address the graduating class. Following their remarks, Captain Alcorn will distribute the class awards, and graduates will symbolize the completion of their training by returning their respective company guidons to their class chief petty officers. The class will then reaffirm the oath of office and will remain standing for the playing of the service songs and the final dismissal. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem and invocation. Officer Training Command Newport arriving. Rear Admiral, United States Navy, arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Chaplain Everts will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, strong to save, we give you our thanks for binding the restless waves within each of these newly trained naval officers, so they could stand proud this day for becoming morally, mentally, and physically developed for the service of our fleet. As they prepare for their next evolution in their communities, remind them of what it means to be a leader and to serve with a purpose. Let them embody humility and selflessness. Remind them to value every sailor and civilian they cross paths with each day. Impress upon them the initiative, integrity, accountability, and toughness needed to do the right thing, especially when it's difficult. Embolden them to have ownership of what they are called to do, even when they are called into harm's way. So as these officers look to the horizon, prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead, giving them the physical, mental, and spiritual readiness to meet each one with confidence. And as we continue to celebrate this moment, we ask for your Spirit to reside with us and all those who stand to watch this day. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Everett Alcorn, Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command, Newport.
Admiral Velez, Captain Azurin, Captain Belosis, Colonel Walsh, distinguished visitors, veterans, service members, Officer Training Command staff, family and friends joining us today, and shipmates of Officer Development School Class 23080, good morning. Good morning, sir! It's an absolute honor for me to have this opportunity to welcome this class into one of the most prestigious, challenging, and rewarding careers of our nation, that of Naval Officer. Today we will bear witness as 154 officers renew a solemn promise to our nation, reaffirming their oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. For the families joining us, I want to both thank you and commend you for the performance of your sons and daughters, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, friends. Your love, support, and encouragement have produced the quality individuals seated here, ones who chose a path of service to their fellow citizens. I can think of no finer group to go forth into the fleet than the officers seated here today, and they could not have gotten to this point without a careful guidance and support of family. On behalf of the Navy and a grateful nation, please accept my most sincere thank you. To the class, I am proud of you and all that you've accomplished while you are here. As you depart for your schools and duty stations, know that you're about to be placed in a position to lead and mentor what are truly one of our most valuable national products, the enlisted men and women of our Navy. The foundations we have laid for you here at Officer Development School are solid. It is now up to you to build upon this as you enter the naval service. I've been impressed with the effort you have expended over the last several weeks, and I want to thank you for all that you have done and will do in the service of this great nation of ours, and I look forward to witnessing your future success. It is my pleasure and distinct honor to welcome you to the wardroom as professional naval officers in the world's finest Navy. It is my privilege this morning to introduce you to our guest of honor, Rear Admiral Dennis Velez, Director of Plans and Policy at U.S. Cyber Command. Admiral Velez is a native of Ajuntas, Puerto Rico. He is a 1992 graduate of the Naval Academy and earned a master's degree from Toro University. At sea, he's completed tours aboard the USS Stout, USS Carr, USS Gettysburg, and USS Donald Cook. He served on afloat staffs with Commander U.S. 2nd Fleet aboard the USS Mount Whitney, and is the Deputy Commander for Destroyer Squadron 15 in Japan. He was the commanding officer of the USS Fitzgerald and the USS San Jacinto. Ashore, he served as officer in charge of a Western Hemisphere Group Caribbean Area Coordinator, and at Naval Personnel Command, he served as Surface Placement Branch Head, Head of Junior Surface Warfare Distribution, and as Assistant Captain Detailer and Deputy Director for Surface Warfare Distribution. He served on the Joint Staff Strategic Plans and Policy Directorate as the Chief, Northeast Asia Division, and Assistant Director for Political Military Affairs Asia. He was a Senior Military Assistant to the 76th Secretary of the Navy, and as a Flag Officer, he served as Commander for Navy Recruiting Band, and most recently as Commander of Carrier Strike Group 10, George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group. Admiral Velez was inducted into the Puerto Rico Military Hall of Fame in November 2021 and is the recipient of the Navy League's 2016 John Paul Jones Award for Inspirational Leadership. Today, just a few hours ago, we pinned a lot of Chief Petty Officers. Today is their day, and it's worth noting that today, Admiral Velez is an honorary Chief Petty Officer. In February, the President nominated him for his second star and appointed to the grade of Rear Admiral. His leadership is essential to the continued success of the world's greatest Navy, and we are privileged to have him with us here today to share his thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest of honor today, Rear Admiral Dennis Velez.
Hey, thank you, Captain Alcorn, just for the kind words. Every time I hear that, it just reminds me how little time I got left in the Navy. Been doing this for 31 years, and the more you do, just the shorter time you have left. So before I start, I do want to recognize the Naval War College band in the back. You guys sounding great, and this is the second time that I'm here today listening to you all, and you sound better after every event. So well done. Can we give them a round of applause, please? So good morning, Captain Alcorn, distinguished guests. I see several senior officers, retired Master Chief. One more thing, can I have, if you served in the military, in the Coast Guard, you're a veteran, please stand up. So if you serve, you're a retired veteran, and please, let's give these heroes a warm welcome here. Thank you. Look back, for the class, look back, look behind you, look behind you. Thank you so much for that. Good morning, Captain Alcorn, OTC staff, families, ODS class 23080. It is truly an honor to be here and provide some remarks on the occasion of your graduation from ODS. I think 23030 are called the mutants, is that right? Mutants, the mutants, so congratulations, great to see you all. Please relax, this is your time. No one's gonna yell at you anymore. The NCOs are back there busy, so you can relax, it's okay. Look around, smile, move your neck, you can do all that. Say like normal people, it's over, okay? You can just relax, all right. I want to thank the families, spouses, parents, cousins, uncles, aunts, grandparents that are here today. Because of your love, dedication, and effort, you had a huge part in making these young men and women what they are today. And I say young because, well, there's a couple of senior people out here that have been around the Navy, the Marine Corps for a few years. You're all very young to me. So again, you're all young and ready to do more work. Your families have instilled with you the core values that you will need to succeed as sailors in our Navy and lifelong community of leaders. Among these values are discipline, skill, passion, and commitment. When your spouse, son or daughter, sister or brother, or friend retakes that oath again today, you should feel proud about them. But you should also be proud of yourselves. Our Navy and all of us are proud of you. Let me also thank these new naval officers for your decision to serve our country. Soon you will be entrusted with the responsibility to take care, support, and lead sailors in the finest Navy ever seen. It is indeed a great Navy day here in Newport. In addition to 2 graduations at OTC, one this morning at OCS, and now this ODS class, as Captain Alcorn mentioned, we are welcoming across the entire Navy our new Chief Petty Officer. So it's certainly a great day. It's a great day to celebrate your success. Newport is a true Navy town. It's been that way since 1881. And this place, where thousands of naval careers have been launched, it is truly special. For my part, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I would be here as a Rear Admiral in our Navy, speaking at graduation for 156 naval officers. When I arrived here in 1987 as an 18-year-old from Puerto Rico to attend the Naval Academy Prep School, which used to be a building that no longer exists. The Naval Academy Prep School is over here now, but it used to be over there, and there used to be a golf obstacle course and a few other things on this side of the base. One of those officers that we are graduating today is my middle daughter, Ensign Madeline Velez, who after dozens of moves and the lives of a Navy child, chose to embark on her own journey of service as a Navy nurse. And while much have changed here in Newport and on the base over the last 30 years, one thing remains constant, and that is the great work done by the staff, all the senior NCOs from the Marines, the Navy, to make sure that these officers, when they step out of this building today, know what to expect and can perform at their best everywhere they go. Can I please get a round of applause for the 10 COs, Chief Petty Officers that run this place here for Because of their work, these officers are ready to face the challenges of the fleet. And make no mistakes, the challenges that you will face are many. No matter what community you'll be joining, chaplains, doctors, nurses, cryptology, oceanography, public affairs, supply, intelligence, information warfare, and others, you will be challenged. From a recruiting crisis here at home, war in Europe, and back to great power competition with a rise in China in the Pacific. The challenges you will face in your career will be many. You will be called upon to make hard decisions, to demonstrate leadership, and to put others before yourself. Above all, you will become part of something far greater than yourselves. And because of the Nurse Corps makes up the larger population here of newly commissioned officers, I think there's close to 50 new nurses in the audit here. And because I did a little bit of homework so I could quiz Madeline on her level of knowledge on the Nurse Corps history, I want to talk about give you a few pointers on Navy nurses and what they have done for the Navy and what all your communities have done over the history of our Navy. So in February 23, 1945, the 12 anchors, 11 female Navy nurses and 1 Filipino nurse were rescued from a Japanese prisoner of war camp in the Philippines. These Navy officers were stationed at the Navy Hospital in Kanakoa in 1941. Within days of the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Japanese military invaded the Philippines, and these 12 women became prisoners of war. The 12 anchors, with determined smiles, spines of steel, provided invaluable medical assistance to their fellow POWs for over 3 years. The 12 anchors were led by a Kansas native, Lieutenant Commander Lara May Cobb. Trained as a nurse in Nebraska, she joined the United States Navy Nurse Corps at the start of World War I and served in the Philippines. After the armistice, she became a civilian nurse, but rejoined the Navy in 1924 and became the chief nurse at the Kanakawa Naval Hospital in Manila before World War II. Cobb retired as a commander in 1981. She was buried back in her home state of Kansas. Her tombstone is inscribed with the words World War II POW. Lieutenant Goldie Amy O'Haver Merrill was born in Illinois and joined the Navy as a surgical nurse in 1929. A skilled seamstress. Outside the operating room, Merrill sewed the uniforms and operating room gowns that the 12 anchors wore during their imprisonment. After the liberation in 1945, Merrill married fellow POW Robert Heath Merrill and retired as a Navy nurse after. Lieutenant Dorothy Steele Danner wrote about her experiences in 1995 memoir, What a Way to Spend a War, Navy Nurse POWs in the Philippines. In the book, Lieutenant Danner talks about the Japanese attack on Manila and how being directed to pack a bag of personal belongings was a calming order in the midst of chaos. She looked for the positives throughout her time as a POW. Like when she received a roll of toilet paper for Christmas, she called it a treasure, claiming that the prize Hope Diamond was worthless in comparison. By the time the 12 anchors were rescued, they suffered years of malnutrition. Danner described the rescuers as magnificent, healthy American soldiers who distributed copious amounts of Hershey's chocolate bars to the free POWs. Soon after Danner returned to the United States, she was directed to represent the Navy Nurse Corps at the New York Tribune Annual Forum. Among the attendees was a corpsman representing the 5 men who planted the American flag on Iwo Jima's Mount Suribachi on February 23rd, the day Danner was rescued. Danner described feeling insignificant and unworthy. In her view, the other military attendees were their heroes and heroines. These are only some of the examples of the 12 anchors' braveries and perseverance. Their actions during their 3+ years of imprisonment personify the Navy Corps values of honor, courage, and commitment. In perilous, trying conditions, these leaders provided much-needed medical care to countless unnamed POWs. The beneficiaries of their actions were Obayoy and Tirit, parents, wives, sons, daughters, who eagerly welcomed their family members' safe return home. Like these 12, there are countless many other stories of chaplains, doctors, lawyers, in fact, from all communities who have led with distinction and bravery in our Navy. Well, I know most of you have already taken the oath of office, so you're all already commissioned officers. I believe you will reaffirm that sacred oath today. The moment you take your oath, you will become a link in the sacred chain of service. It is a chain that has protected our nation and unified our spirit since the earliest days of the Republic. I took my oath 31 years ago, and it remains among the best decisions in my life. I could not imagine the challenges and opportunities that would lay in front of me. My earliest duty stations put many tools in my leadership bag, ones that I rely upon to this day. I learned the importance of listening to my people, particularly my chiefs. Over the years, I also picked up a few key great attributes of those that I served with, and I was lucky enough to learn from them. From my first chief petty officers to the CNCs that worked for me in my 05, 06, and 07 commands, I learned much. So a couple of things for you new officers. Be humble, positive, and inquisitive. Always ready to learn and willing to listen. Give your people the opportunity and motivation to share their ideas and concerns. They will let you know about problems and solutions long before you discover them for yourself. You must lead with empathy. Look out for your people and their families, and always bloom where you're planted. Over the years, in addition to lots of senior enlisted and some good officers that I work with, I also had the opportunity to interact with senior leaders. In just this past year, in 2022, as I was getting ready to take the George Bush Carrier Strike Group on deployment to the combat zone in Yukon, had the opportunity to host Secretary of the Navy Dalton for a visit. He wanted to talk to sailors. Secretary Dalton is in his late 70s, still very active, very sharp. And as a 79-year-old man, he was running up and down the decks on that carrier. It's hard to keep up with. He was just inspired, energized by our sailors. As he was walking off the ship, he handed me a little card. In it was his name, Secretary Dalton, 73rd Secretary of the Navy, his dolphins. He's a submarine officer. In the back, a list of 7 attributes that he believed, on his time in the Navy and certainly as a leader in the community, that our best leaders have. I looked at it. I thought it was pretty neat. Kept it on my desk. I made a little frame for it, and I kept it to this day. But I added 3 things to 3 other attributes that I think are very important. If you indulge me, I'm just going to read you those 10 little attributes. This is something that during my command of the strike group, I used to hand out the new chiefs, and I was going to bring some copies for you. I left them at home, so my apologies. If you shoot me a note, I'll make sure you get one when you get to your new command. But I start, and they're in no particular order except for number 1. Number 1 is a leader needs to be trusted. You need to be trusted by your people, by the people that work for you, and by those that you work for. And how do you do that? By doing the best job you can every day, by having integrity. Take initiative. Okay? When you get to your command, be that person that volunteers to do the hard work, all the little jobs. That's what taking initiative means all about. Use good judgment. You're all senior, you're all been around, you've been to college. Use good judgment in everything you do. Join the Navy is kind of the first step in showing that good judgment. Speak with authority. How do you do that? Well, you learn your job. And if you don't know your job, it's okay to say, hey, I don't know, I'm going to go find out. It's the best way for you to demonstrate that you have authority, that you have judgment, and you can be trusted. And strengthen others. It's back to that service of your people and taking care of the folks that you work for. Be optimistic and enthusiastic. That is the number 1 job of a naval officer. You walk around, if you got people that are working for you, you're walking around, moping around, woe be me, or like every day, that's how your people are going to be. So be positive, be optimistic. Always look at the bright side of things. There's always a silver lining, and it's important that you do that as an officer. Never compromise absolutes. Goes back to that trusted integrity. Never compromise your integrity. Lead by example. Pretty easy to do. I think a lot of chiefs and senior chief NCOs do that every day here. Great folks to emulate. Be humble, and don't ever forget that you work for your people. You serve your people. So, senior guy to the most junior person, we serve the folks that we work for. So remember those things. If you do these things, I know you will have a successful career, and you will be a team. You will build a team that will have a common vision and unity of purpose. Just as you've learned and done here at OTC the last 5 weeks. You all come from different backgrounds, states, territories, financial situations, etc. But as of today, you're all naval officers. As you embark on this adventure, you will have many great leaders to follow and to emulate. But don't just follow in their footsteps. Create your own journeys and fulfill your destiny as the best and brightest that the Navy and our nation has to offer. When I took the oath in 1992, the Cold War with the Soviet Union had just ended. The Berlin Wall was down. President George H.W. Bush, another great naval officer, and got youngest naval aviator ever to fly, stressed to us that America's role as a world leader is exemplified by those who represent it, both at home and abroad. As President Bush said, we will do it with your help through the leadership you provide. He's speaking to me as a brand new ensign in the Navy. He also said that today John Paul Jones would say that the measure of a ship is not guns, but it's courageous men and women. Your courage, your integrity, your ability to lead, these are the qualities on which our nation's security depends. I was 22 years old. I wasn't sure what that meant. At that point, it sounded great. I was really more interested in graduating, get out of Annapolis and go with my naval career. I remember shaking the president's hand on that day in Annapolis, but I didn't know what he meant. Now, after 31 years of service, I think I do. I think he felt immense pride knowing he was handing off a sacred legacy to the next generation of Navy leaders. This is how I feel today. People who stood where you stand today have gone on to become admirals, leaders, and battle-tested veterans. The legacy you join includes national leaders and extraordinary members of our civilian community, just like President Bush did. Every one of them stepped forward and took the same oath that you will retake today. Every one of them was in some way or other tested against that oath, as you will surely be tested. Always live up to that commitment. Remember what brought you here and who brought you here, because that will determine everything about where you go from here. So in closing, I want to say congratulations to the ODS Class 23080. I wish you fair winds and following seas, much success in everything that you do, because we need you. We need you in the fleet. So congratulations. Can't wait to see you at sea. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Alcorn and Admiral Velez. At the conclusion of each ODS class, several students are recognized by their fellow classmates as well as OTCN staff for outstanding achievement during the 5-week course of instruction. Lieutenant J.G. April Limpra Sula, front and center. The Honor Student Award is presented to the officer who best demonstrates an overall excellence in the areas of academics, physical fitness, and military bearing. Consistently setting the example for his or her peers throughout the many challenges faced at Officer Training Command, the Honor Student Award goes to Lieutenant J.G. Lumpra Sula. Ensign Justin Miller, front and center. The Alfred Award is given to the officer who achieves the highest military grade derived from personnel inspections, room inspections, and general military bearing. This award is named after the Continental sloop of war, the Alfred. Commissioned in 1775, the Alfred served as the flagship of native Rhode Islander Commodore Esek Hopkins and is regarded as the birthplace of Navy medicine, as it was the first ship to appoint a dedicated ship surgeon. Serving as a role model of Navy pride and professionalism, maintaining the highest military standards, and providing an inspiration to all, the Alfred Award goes to Ensign Miller. Lieutenant J.G. Ricky Lattimore, front and center. The Pickens-Wills Peer Leadership Award is presented to the officer who personifies the highest standards of personal example, good leadership practices, and moral responsibility. Officers were nominated by their peers, and the winner was selected by the Officer Training Command staff. The winner of this award embodies the leadership traits and esprit de corps of Harriet Pickens and Frances Wills, the first two African-American women to commission in the United States Navy. Their courage and collaborative leadership paved the way for today's inclusive Navy. The Pickens-Wills Peer Leadership Award goes to Lieutenant J.G. Lattimore. Ensign Juan J. Davis, front and center. The Eady Award, named for Lieutenant Thomas Eady, United States Navy, recognizes the highest achievement in academic and military performance. Lieutenant Thomas Eady, who emigrated from Scotland and settled in Rhode Island, was awarded the Navy Cross and Medal of Honor for his courageous efforts as a diver during the salvage of submarines SS-4 and SS-51 off the coast of Massachusetts. He was a member of the Southeastern New England chapter of the Retired Officers Association at the time of his death in 1974. In recognition of this accomplishment, in addition to a Certificate of Achievement, the Military Officers Association of America has also provided a 3-year membership to the Eady Award winner, Ensign Davis. For the past 5 weeks, the company guidons have been a symbol of spirit, dedication, teamwork, and unit identity. To symbolize the fact that these officers seated before you have completed their training, they will return their guidons to their class chief petty officers, Senior Chief Gunner's Mate Christopher Lawrence, and Senior Chief Information Systems Technician Gregory Johnson.
And salute. Ready, 2. X. Change. Guide on. Take. Guide on. Ready, 2. About, face.
Class Officer Lieutenant Purnell will now deliver the reaffirmation of the oath of office. Would all military personnel in uniform please come to the position of attention?
Against
The commanding officer of Officer Training Command Newport would like to present to you your newly reaffirmed naval officers. Please rise for the playing of the service songs and the final dismissal. Class 23080, upon graduation from Officer Development School, you are ordered to detach and report to your duty stations, where you will assume your duties and responsibilities by order of Everett Alcorn, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command, Newport.
Class 23080, dismissed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. On behalf of the Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command, Newport, thank you for attending today's graduation.